Cancer is a continuously growing global health problem that poses major challenges, most especially in developing countries. Find out how this international distributor of innovative health products came up with a series of solutions to help increase a patient's chance to survive the odds. In 2020, the Philippines hit a record of 354,398 prevalent cancer cases within a 5-year period. But because of poor access to health care, especially for people living below the poverty line, the advances and breakthroughs in cancer remain unattainable to many.
Cancer refers to a group of diseases that's characterized actually by cell growth, abnormal cell growth and proliferation, inflammation, as well as angiogenesis or formation of new blood vessels. It always starts with mutation in the genome or the genetic makeup of a person inside the cell. Before PPARs, most of my patients, they were unable to finish the chemotherapy regimens because of the side effects and because of discomfort during the process of chemotherapy.
Maria's son Dominic was diagnosed with stage 4 rhabdomyosarcoma when he was only 4 years old. While coping with the recovery of her other sick child, Maria found it hard to accept Dominic's condition.
It was actually very devastating kasi with Dominic, it was manifested mga 4 years old na siya eh. Unlike dun sa daughter ko na congenital talaga, baby pa lang. Yung mga bandang September, meron ng umuumbok-umbok dito sa leeg niya. Hindi ko talagang iniisip na cancer kaagad siya until nag-nosebleed siya.
Dominic was prescribed chemotherapy, but his family insisted to rush to an integrative doctor to seek for alternative cure.
Medyo hesitant ako kasi as a mother, I know the side effects ng chemotherapy kasi. So what I did is that I rushed towards the integrative doctor of my daughter, who happened to be PPAR partner doctor of Simply Nature.
One of the hardest decisions to make for people living with cancer is choosing the kind of treatment that would work best. To help patients and their families deal with this growing health problem, one company commits to producing safe, credible, and natural health solutions by drawing on the latest bioscience technology to deliver a series of safe, efficient, and natural products. What is Simply Nature and what does it do?
Simply Nature is a company we created and founded about 10 years ago. Our mission is to find effective health solutions for people. So we provide natural products that work in combination with conventional therapy and medicine.
As an international company that provides natural solutions for cancer, metabolic syndrome, and degenerative diseases, the management upholds a health philosophy that centers on whole food nutrition as the frontier in health management.
When we talk about choosing treatment, especially in the area of cancer, patients are really afraid of chemotherapy because of its side effects, and they tend to then look towards natural products. But this is not a either conventional or natural choice. At Simply Nature, patients can have the best of both worlds. Our protocols work with conventional chemotherapy to minimize its side effects so that they can get the best treatment using both conventional and natural together.
Cancer is like a virus. It continuously evolves, it mutates, so it can develop defenses against our usual treatment modalities like chemotherapy.
Like I said, chemotherapy and radiation therapy have a lot of side effects. So more often than not, patients stop their treatment because of these side effects. It's very important to have the support.
With the supplements that we give the patients, there will be lesser side effects, so they will be able to finish their chemotherapy protocols more comfortably.
This company introduced PPARs, which is touted as one of the best natural ways of solving serious health problems.
PPARs stands for peroxisome proliferator activating receptors. It's basically a nuclear receptor found inside the cells. Now, when these receptors are activated, the benefit that you can get from that is, number one, cellular differentiation. Number two, it's to promote fatty acid metabolism. If you have better insulin function, your blood sugar will naturally go down. And another one is to induce cancer cell death by modulating the immune system.
As a sole distributor of PPARs, the company promotes its use to many reputable health institutions worldwide and actively organizes corporate health conferences and public health talks in Asia.
Simply Nature PPARs is made out of a special strain of these types of microalgae that is very effective by protecting the bone marrow. We maintain the integrity of the immune system of the patient, which is very important to prevent infections and to fight off the cancer itself. And also, Simply Nature PPARs is also very dense in nutrients so that the patient can recover faster because of better cellular healing.
Sabi ko parang na-lead kami to an extraordinary and I must say amazing journey. I'm very proud of him. At a young age, na 8 years old, he believed that it's his purpose to siguro encourage other people then. We would like to really pay it forward with the knowledge that there's really like Simply Nature that can help people with cancer very much.
When fighting cancer, living healthy is very important because it allows us to pursue what is important to us in life, and that's what it's all about. When we can help a patient move from being bedridden to getting up, to be lucid in thought so that they can have conversations with their loved ones, it gives the whole process of fighting cancer a whole new meaning. And that is what drives us at Simply Nature.
Talagang sobrang sakit. Sumusuka na ako. Tapos sa work ko rin, hindi ko na kaya talagang mag-isip. Dumating ako sa point na nawala na din daw ako ng malay. Then, nakilala ko si Sir Shyan. Meron silang ganung product. Effect sa akin ng supplement na to is malakas ako. Kahit nagkikimo ako, nag-radiation ako. Hindi ko naranasan yung mga naranasan ng other patient na nagsusuka, nanghihina, walang ganang kumain. My name is Saida C. Gomez, 48 years old. I live in Quezon City. Currently work is a property manager. Diagnosed sa akin is breast cancer no year 2019. After 2.5 years, is recurrent na siya for stage 4. Affected na yung brain, then lungs and liver. Kumalat na siya. Yung symptoms na naramdaman ko is talagang sobrang sakit ng ulo ko. Gumising ako, parang sumusuka na ako. Tapos yung umiiba-iba yung way ng walk ko. Talagang as in, vomit dito, vomit dun. Tapos sa work ko rin, talagang hindi ko na kaya talagang mag-isip. Parang lagi akong masakit talaga ang ulo. Na dumating ako sa point na nawala na din daw ako ng malay. Sabi ng mga kasama ko doon. Inaakay na nila ako. Then, yung pinakamatindi is yung dito na sa bahay na talagang inaano ko nung husband ko na gumigising ako pero talagang ayaw kong gumising. Kaya dinala na niya ako ng ER. Tapos doon na sila nag-test. Nagising na nga lang ako, nasa room na. Parang minuto na nga lang, wala na ako. Kasi talagang yung namamagana, swollen na yung brain ko. Nang ma-diagnose ako ng 2019 na I have a tumor, bukol, hindi ako nagpa-chemo. Basta it's natural, concentrate ako sa natural. Then, after ng 3 months, sabi nila, is kailangan ko na daw ipatanggal. So, hindi na siya babalik. So, pumunta ako ng hospital, natanggal naman siya, then, still, natural pa rin na product na aking tinitake. Pero, bumalik siya. Stage 4 na. Kasi nga affected na yung brain ko, lungs, liver. Actually, may na siya, sign na para sa bone. Yun yung mga nakita sa CT scan ko. Then, nakilala ko si Sir Shyan na meron silang ganung product. PPARs na powder and tablets. Yun yung trinay ko habang nag-start na ako ng radiation ng 18. May, nag-chemo na ako. Natapos ko yung radiation ko for 10 session. So, okay yung effect. Nakayanan ko siya. May, nag-start na rin ako ng chemo para dun sa lungs and liver ko. And yung abdominal, kasama na rin siya. Every 21 days, 3 days yung aking chemo. With the help talaga nung Simply Nature, hindi ko naranasan yung nakikita ko sa mga kasabayan kong nagkikimo na nagsusuka, sumasakit, giniginaw, may mga ganun, tapos parang hindi talaga sila makakain. Minsan nga, hindi nila natatapos yung treatment nila. Pero ako, natatapos ko siya, straight 3 days pa, na ang recommended sa akin is dapat naka-admit ako ng 3 days. Since tight lang din ako sa budget, is nag-decide na lang ako mag-uwian. Kasi strong ako, kaya ko. The following month ulit, nakaya ko siya ng hanggang 5 cycle. Di ako nagsusuka, nagugas ng plato, may konti akong pinagkakabalhang tindahan. So, nagagawa ko. When I was diagnosed sa stage 4 cancer, I cried, of course. Hindi mo naman maiiwasan yun. Pero I never felt na hindi ko kakayanin. Parang kailangan ko lakasan ng loob ko para sa family ko, lalo na sa mga bata, sa mga anak ko, maliliit pa sila. Yung husband ko, naiyak siya, syempre. Pero nung makita niya akong lalaban ako, parang nadagdagan yung fighting spirit niya na talagang lalabanan natin to, mami, sabi niya ganun. Narinig ko nga sinabi ng doktor na less than a year ako, pero hindi ako kinabahan. Tinitake ko is P-Pars powder, 2 scoop, nilalagay ko siya sa ilalim ng dila para ako matulog. Then 15 tablets every morning, empty stomach. Then sa afternoon din, 15 din ulit. Bumibili rin ako ng cleansing para panglinis. During chemo, radiation, ginagamit ko siya. Effect sa akin ng product, ng supplement na to is malakas ako kahit nagki-chemo ako, nagre-radiation ako. Hindi ako nanghihina. Kaya kong bumalik sa normal na kilos ko after ng chemotherapy ko. Happy ako sa mga result kasi after 3 months, pinag-CT scan na nga nila ako at saka MRI, good yung development, nabawasan lahat yung mga measurement. Siguro yun yung effect talaga ng supplement na tinitake ko. This month is naka-evaluation, PET scan na po ako. Happy ako dun sa result ng CT scan at saka MRI. Kasi nga, yung sa MRI ko, yung sa brain is from 1.09, naging 0.08 na lang siya, yung measurement niya. Then yung sa lungs ko, which is yung chest scan ko, is 9.05, naging 4.05 na lang. I will recommend Simply Nature to other cancer patient kasi it's very effective for me. Kahit nag-treatment ka at tinitake mo yun, hindi ko naranasan yung mga naranasan ng other patient na nagsusuka, nanghihina, then walang ganang kumain. Hi, I'm Saida Gomez. I have stage 4 breast cancer, metastasis for the brain, lungs, liver, abdominal, and bone. Thanks to Simply Nature, I'm okay now. And I trust Simply Nature.
evening to you all. Kamusta po kayong lahat? I'm Sheila, your host for tonight, and you are watching another episode of Simply Nature Webinar, your long-time running healthcare awareness webinar here in social media. This program is powered by Simply Nature International and Simply Healed Medical Group. Tonight's topic is entitled Surviving Fourth-Stage Breast Cancer with Brain, Lungs, and Liver Metastasis. To start off, now throughout this webinar, we'll explore the latest advancement in treatments, the significance of holistic care, and critical role of support networks in fight against cancer. We would love to hear from you. We would also love to know where you are watching us from. So please do comment down your location so we can do a shout out for you. Now, to start off our discussion for tonight's topic, I'd like to call on a successful entrepreneur who is also a seasoned in range of topics from personal success and healthcare. The CEO and founding director of Simply Nature International, Mr. Shyan Lim. Shyan.
Good evening, Sheila, and good evening to everyone. Tonight's topic is really great, and I can see the viewers are pouring in already. Tonight's topic is something that is on the surface looks incredibly challenging. You know, to have fourth-stage breast cancer with metastasis, that means it spread to the brain, the lungs, and the liver. That almost sounds like like the end of the road. But I want to start tonight's program by just sharing that my personal friend, whom I referred to Dr. Jansen, is such a survivor, you know. So she actually had fourth-stage breast cancer, and it did metastasize to her brain and her lungs. So it almost looked like a end of the road kind of journey. But the good news is today, she is well. Her hair grew back. She finished her treatments. She is pretty much cancer free. We can ask Dr. Jansen for more details, but I just want to start tonight's topic with a real-life example of someone who actually successfully beat that condition. So I hope we start off on a very positive, hopeful note, and I hand the time back to Sheila, whom I believe will introduce Dr. Jansen, who will discuss tonight's topic. But don't forget, after Dr. Jansen's discussion, there will be a Ask Me Anything segment where you can ask any question, be it related to tonight's topic or any medical questions you would like to ask. All right, so enjoy tonight's program, and we started off with a hopeful message. Sheila?
Thank you, Sir Shyan. Now, just to echo up what Sir Shyan mentioned, because just before we introduce the next speaker, please know once again that we will be what we call AMA or Ask Me Anything portion. So yes, questions are very much welcome. And yes, po, even in Tagalog, we are accepting your questions. Don't worry, okay? So we'll try to answer all your questions right after the discussion of our next speaker, who is, of course, will be doing his patient case presentation. To introduce Dr. Jansen Kalalan. And in 2019, he was conferred Diplomate of International Board of Lifestyle Medicine and Philippine College of Lifestyle Medicine. He is also the president of Simply Healed Medical Group and a consultant of Alta Integrative Medical Wellness Complex at Perpetual Health Medical Center, Las Piñas, where he manages patients with cancer and metabolic syndromes. Everybody, watch this.
Hi everyone, this is Doc Jansen, your lifestyle medicine doctor, helping you in your recovery from cancer. So today, I'm gonna discuss one of my patients. I'm gonna share with you her journey towards her fight against not so common type of breast cancer. Okay, so this patient of mine is a 48-year-old female, known case of primitive neuroectodermal tumor of the breast on the left with brain metastasis. Now, itong patient na to came to me on April 2022 for a second opinion. Okay, so we're gonna discuss her journey, paano nagsimula yung cancer niya. We're gonna discuss what primitive neuroectodermal tumor is at yung mga treatment options na sinuggest sa kanya ng kanyang mga doktor at kung bakit. So her history started July 2019. In this period, the patient had a large breast mass on her left breast. So she consulted the breast surgeon, and the initial diagnosis was a phylloides tumor. A phylloides tumor is a rare breast tumor that came from the connective tissue of the breast. So yung typical na breast anatomy kasi, there are lobules and ducts inside the breast, and in between them, it is the connective tissue. So it makes the breast intact, it makes the breast firm as well. Typically, breast cancer kasi, it either arises from the lobules, which is the milk producing glands, or the ducts. Okay? So breast cancer typically comes from these two tissues. However, yung patient, yung tumor niya came from the connective tissue itself. Okay? Typically, most of them are benign, and only a few of them are malignant. What the surgeon did was to do a mastectomy. Kasi, bakit? The patient's breast is already huge, and there is an axillary lymph node na nakakapa ng patient. The breast surgeon decided to remove the breast and to remove the axillary lymph node. So itong axillary lymph nodes, ito yung lymph nodes na nakikita sa armpit. When breast cancer cells metastasize, una ang axillary lymph nodes before they go into the rest of the body. So ito yung gate or yung access nila. That's why it is first removed. Okay? So ito na nga, surgical pathology was done, and the result came out as a malignant round cell tumor. So a malignant round cell tumor is not a typical surgical pathology result from a breast surgery. Okay? Usually, ang nakikita natin for breast cancer is it's either invasive intraductal carcinoma or invasive intralobular carcinoma. Okay? So ngayon, the doctors are not quite sure about the diagnosis of the patient. However, good thing, there was no lymphovascular invasion. Negative ang metastasis for all 20 lymph nodes, and there was clear margins. So, having said this, since the doctors were not quite clear, they're not quite sure kung ano talaga yung diagnosis ng patient, further tests has to be done. So, immunohistochemical staining was done and confirmed, the diagnosis of the patient is a primitive neuroectodermal tumor of the breast. So, at this point in time, the patient just took food supplements and did not further undergo radiation therapy or chemotherapy. This was already in August 2019. So ano ba yung primitive neuroectodermal tumor of the breast? So this type of tumor is a rare malignant tumor that arises from the central nervous system or the axial or truncal tissue or the bones of the body. So this tumor can be found anywhere doon sa axis ng body, so from the head, the chest, the trunk. Okay? But most of the time, more commonly, it can be found from nerve tissues like the central nervous system tissues. Okay? And this type of tumor occurs more frequently in children versus adults. So from this, makikita talaga natin na yung case ng patient is really quite rare. So it's very unusual for a person like her to develop this kind of tumor. And also, let's take a look at the statistics around the world. Only around 129 people are diagnosed per year around the world, okay? And the annual incidence is around 2 to 4 per 1 million cases. So you can just imagine how rare this is. And this is considering already combining all types of PNET, okay? Now, let's take a look at the 5-year overall survival. Please take these numbers with a grain of salt. So, for localized disease, around 56 to 61% of people who undergo surgery with radiation therapy are still alive, after 5 years. So, this is like 56 out of 100 or 56 to 61 out of 100 buhay pa after 5 years, when they undergo surgery and or radiation therapy. Now, if they don't undergo surgery, nasa 30 out of 100 lang ang buhay pa after 5 years. Now, for our patient, our patient's case is metastatic. So, our patient's case is actually, ang survival rate niya is less than 20 lang. So, for patients who have PNET, metastatic breast PNET, less than 20 out of 100 are still alive after 5 years. So, itong case ng patient is actually quite mababa ang survival chances. Okay? Now, what about those who underwent chemotherapy, So the survival rate would be better for patients who underwent surgery, more than 10 cycles of chemotherapy, tumors who have a smaller diameter, and no lymph node metastasis. The patient underwent surgery, okay? However, at this time, hindi pa siya nag-undergo ng chemo. Does the patient have a small tumor diameter? No. The patient's tumor is actually quite large, and ito fortunately wala ring lymph node metastasis. So for me, just with these parameters, I can say that the patient's chances of survival is not quite good, Actually, it's somewhere in the middle, kasi we have to take into consideration may brain metastasis kasi siya. However, there are yung ibang parameters, which offers better survival chances. At least for her, it is better compared to her counterparts. Now, treatment options are still the same, surgery, chemo, and radiation therapy. Okay. Now, come March 2022, around third week of March 2022, she developed frequent headaches and increased blood pressure. Okay. Now, this complaint prompted her to go to the emergency room. So, upon arriving sa emergency room, cranial MRI was done, which showed, lo and behold, meron siyang 3 cm mass at the left cerebellum. Okay, may pamamaga din around that area. Both occipital lobes. So yung occipital lobes, ito yung part ng brain na nasa likod. Okay? The occipital lobes, actually yung vision center ng katawan natin nasa occipital lobes. So left temporal lobe, so it's around here, and the right parietal lobe around here. So since the patient has brain metastasis, other parts of the body has to be evaluated also for metastasis. So if there is a metastasis at one part of the body, then the other parts of the body might also have metastasis. Okay, so what are other laboratory tests that the patient underwent? So this is one, yung contrast enhanced chest and whole abdomen CT scan. Okay, so upon undergoing this test, they found out sa right upper lobe of the lung, there is a 9 cm mass, okay, abutting the mediastinum, and an enlarged mediastinal lymph node, which is around 4 cm in size. Okay, so just to give you an idea on where the tumor of the patient is located, so yung 9 cm mass at the right upper lobe of the lung is located here, Yung superior lobe is also known as the upper lobe. Okay, it's just another term for it. So now yung 9 cm mass na yan is abutting the mediastinum. So yung mediastinum is an area on the chest, somewhere in the middle. Okay, yan yung mediastinum. So again, itong 9 cm mass na to is malapit sa mediastinum, and there is an enlarged mediastinal lymph node, which is 4 cm in diameter. So ito yung location. Now, next, where are the lymph nodes of the lungs located? So ito yan sila. So if you can see the green small oval shaped figures here, which is lining the trachea, the bronchus, left and right bronchus, yan yung mediastinal lymph node. So isa dyan, malaki din, 4 cm in diameter. So if my finger is around 1 cm, so yung tumor ng patient is around this size. Okay, ito yung lymph node. Then the 9 cm tumor is around this size, Ganyan siya kalaki. So you can just imagine how big that is. Right? So what management was she given during this ER consult, and the eventual consultation or the eventual referral to a neurologist? So she was given dexamethasone, levetiracetam, and omeprazole. So yung dexamethasone, ano ang purpose niyan? It's to reduce the swelling around the tumor. So remember, there is a 3 cm tumor at the cerebellum with surrounding edema. So, ang purpose ng dexamethasone is to reduce the edema. Okay? Levetiracetam is to prevent seizures, and omeprazole is of course, to prevent dyspepsia or gastritis, or especially when the patient is going to vomit. Okay? So, on the 4th week of March 2022, the patient consulted me. So, during this consult, the patient was well, wala siyang symptoms, wala siyang report na any deficits. There's no difficulty in swallowing, wala siyang loss of balance. Now, at this point, she was advised radiation therapy with subsequent chemotherapy. Okay? Now, the patient worries that she cannot continue working because of the treatment side effects. But at this point, the patient is actually quite determined to undergo chemo and radiation therapy. However, yun nga, no, she's working, so ayaw niyang ayaw niyang huminto sa trabaho kasi, why? So she needs income as well, no? She needs to work, okay, para ma-sustain yung treatment niya. So what I did was to prescribe PPARS plus tablets, PPARS powder, and a whole food plant-based diet. In terms of her physical activity capacity, wala namang problem because the patient can commute, no, without any difficulty. So going back to the protocol that I prescribed her, bakit ito yung protocol na binigay ko? So number one is the patient is going to undergo chemo and radiation, and the patient doesn't want to get fatigued. She primarily wants to reduce yung side effects ng treatment, no? So PPARS tablets, PPARS plus tablets, and PPARS powder are actually microalgae, sourced from microalgae, which have very powerful anti-inflammatory properties, packed with phytonutrients, which can give her the protective effects, no, of from these treatment. Also, since she's going to undergo radiation therapy and chemotherapy, yung immune system niya is also can also be compromised. So these two products can also help protect her bone marrow so that her immune system remains to be protected. Her immune system remains to be strong. Okay? And lastly, whole food plant-based diet. Ano ang benefit ng whole food plant-based diet sa primitive neuroectodermal tumor of the breast? So to be honest, since this tumor is so rare, yung studies behind this is not well established pa. Okay? Since the sheer number of the patients is so few, no? And yung treatment options, again, are quite limited. So we tend to or doctors tend to gravitate towards yung conventional or traditional treatment options like surgery, chemo, and radiation, which are proven to reduce tumor size. Okay? However, yun nga, no, the patient also needs to recover from each session of these treatments because syempre very damaging sila. So this is also one of the reasons why I prescribe a whole food plant-based diet, because if you eat a whole food plant-based diet, hindi lang siya very packed with nutrients, antioxidants, and the typical nutrients, no. We also allow the body to heal. Okay? You prevent or you don't eat foods which can damage the body or which can promote cancer growth, like animal food products like dairy, these things, no. However, again, the proof behind or the scientific evidence behind these foods or the influence of these foods, lalo yung mga bawal, no, like your milk products, animal food products, these things, no, on primitive neuroectodermal tumor of the breast is still not well established. However, just knowing that cancer grows when it is exposed to animal protein. So what I advise is for the patients to avoid eating these foods. Okay? So the following month, on April 2022, the patient came back to me. Ang complaint naman niya is fatigue and difficulty sleeping. So this is very typical of patients who are undergoing brain radiation therapy. So what I did was just to prescribe melatonin. Eventually, she was able to finish all 10 sessions, and she was only complaining of tremors on her both hands. So itong tremors is also very typical kasi again, bakit? Number one, there's a tumor on her cerebellum which controls yung fine movement, no? And also, she just recently finished radiation therapy, so which can also produce this kind of side effect. However, this is only temporary, and eventually when the effects of the radiation therapy has already gone, then yung integrity or these tremors can go away. Right? Now, on June 2022, the patient started the first cycle of chemotherapy. So the chemotherapy that was given to her was cisplatin and etoposide. At this time, she only complained of poor appetite due to altered sense of taste. There was no headache, no dizziness, no vomiting. So take a look at the complete blood count, no? Dun sa complete blood count ng patient, yung white blood cell count is 2. This 2 is really very low. Red blood cell count is also quite low, no? Actually, mababa to. Although yung hemoglobin is 106, this is still quite acceptable. However, yung white blood cell count is at 2, which is really quite low. So this result is actually because of the number one, yung chemotherapy, no? Because she recently started yung chemo. So what I did was to prescribe her carrots, green leafy vegetables, and mushroom. So bakit itong tatlong pagkain na to? Number one, mushrooms kasi has beta-glucan which can help support the immune system. Okay? Yung green leafy vegetables would be also for the immune system and for the hemoglobin, no, to increase kasi green leafy vegetables actually have high iron contents. Carrots as well. So carrots, aside from iron, it also has a lot of vitamin A, no, retinoids, which can also help anemia. So after 2 weeks, she came back again, showing me a complete blood count result, no, CBC result. So yung white blood cell count niya increased from 2, naging 9 na ngayon. However, the hemoglobin stayed the same. So, yung hemoglobin staying the same is actually quite expected because ang lifespan ng red blood cells natin is 120 days, no? So, I would not expect any kind of change at this point in time. However, what is quite assuring is that yung white blood cell count niya is normal already. Okay? Now, on August 2022, she already finished 3 out of 9 cycles of chemotherapy, and now she is to undergo imaging tests again to see if there are improvements. So during this time, she underwent a chest CT scan. So the right upper lung lobe, yung 9 cm na nabanggit ko before, no, a while ago, bumaba na yung size niya to 4 cm. Okay? The mediastinal lymph nodes, yung paratracheal precarinal lymph nodes, no, from 4 cm, the largest now is just 1 cm in size. So this is actually a very significant improvement. CT scan of the whole abdomen, there were no liver metastasis or enlarged lymph nodes noted. Now, how about the brain metastasis, no? So, for the brain metastasis, MRI of the brain was requested. So, ito yung findings. Yung previous 3 cm mass on the left cerebellum, 1 cm na ngayon. So, from 3, naging 1 na lang. On the left temporal lobe, previously, the size was 1.7 centimeters. Ngayon, 0.6 centimeters na lang. On the left frontal lobe, actually, ito hindi to na-detect with the first scan. No? However, upon review of the radiologist, lumiit na rin yung size niya. No? So, at the left frontal lobe, no specific size was indicated, just a decrease in size. Okay? Kasi yung first MRI, hindi siya na-measure ng radiologist. Okay, so next is on the left occipital lobe, 0.35 centimeters, no, also decreased in size. So the previous lesions at the right parietal lobe and the right occipital lobe are now gone, and the surrounding edemas are also gone. So at this point, no, malaki na yung improvement ng patient, and the patient is actually quite motivated already. So on her next follow-up session, November 2022, she again went back, no. At this point in time, she has the patient is quite well, with good appetite. No, again, no dizziness or lightheadedness. No, although a little bit anemic. However, let's take a look at the complete blood count. No, so complete blood count shows ang hemoglobin niya is at 108, which is, yeah, true enough, it's a little bit anemic. However, yung 108 na hemoglobin has been like this, no, ever since she started chemotherapy. So for this, again, I told her to continue eating the foods that she needs to eat, the prescribed foods, no. So at this time, the patient already finished chemotherapy. Now, let's take a look at the other blood parameters. No? So, I also requested for a blood chemistry result. However, nung bumalik yung blood chemistry result, her cholesterol was actually through the roof. So, cholesterol levels was 297.6, triglycerides was 217, LDL 192. So, bakit ganito kataas ang cholesterol ng patient? And when I repeatedly asked her, no, have you eaten any food items na sourced from animals? Sinabi niya, hindi. How about eggs? Patient said no. Okay, so ano ang nagpataas ng cholesterol niya? So I asked, no, what plant foods are you eating? So she reported that she was eating half a kilo of nuts every day, which is actually quite huge. And mind you, no, can nuts increase cholesterol or triglyceride levels? It actually can kapag ganito karami yung kinakain. Because nuts are very fatty, so yung calories niya is very dense, okay? So if you eat around half a kilo of nuts every day, sobrang taas ng fat content yan. So if the food that you eat has a very high fat content, ang immediate reaction ng katawan would be increased triglycerides, okay? And next, increased cholesterol. Why? Kasi cholesterol would be needed to transport all these fats, no, to metabolize all these fats, no, from your intestine towards your liver and towards the rest of the body. So this is the explanation why. So what I did was just to prescribe her rosuvastatin for the cholesterol and told her to just reduce yung nut intake niya to 1 to 2 handfuls a day. Actually, 1 handful a day would suffice already. So at this time, yung PPARS protocol niya, pinalitan ko na. So I still prescribe, no, Simply Nature PPARS plus tablets and Simply Nature PPARS soft gel. So she graduated from the powder already. So early this year, January 2023, she again went back, no, for a consult. So this time, PET CT scan was done. So PET CT scan, bakit ito ang ni-request ng doctors niya, no? It's mainly to survey the rest of the body, to look for metastasis, to look for any residual tumors. So ito ang naging findings. No? So number 1, yung sa thorax niya, there was a decrease in the size of the spiculated mass in the apical segment of the right upper lobe. So ito yung right upper lobe na nabanggit ko kanina, no? So now it is approximately 3 by 2 centimeters from a previous reported measurement of 3 by 4 centimeters. And it is now exhibiting low-grade FDG activity. So ano ibig sabihin ng low-grade FDG activity? Ang ibig sabihin nito, the tumor is now less metabolic. So itong findings na to, no, itong character na to ng tumor, is this something good or is this something, bad? Actually, this is something good because yung metabolic capacity ng tumor humihina na. So meaning the cancer cells are dying. Okay? This is actually quite good. However, in terms of prognosis, if we only consider this, it will not affect the prognosis as much. Okay? However, in the general scheme, no, yung sa progress ng patient, this is actually something quite good kasi kita natin na yung size ng tumor is already getting reduced. Okay? So, the following month, February 2023, she underwent an MRI of the brain, no? And after the MRI, there was no signs of tumor in the brain, as you can see here in her MRI report. So, to my patient, you know who you are if you're watching. Congratulations to your wonderful fight against cancer. Congratulations in winning against the fight, no? Isa na lang ang kailangan nating pagtuunan ng pansin, which is the tumor in your chest, no, in your lungs, and I'm really quite optimistic na mawawala rin to eventually. We'll now answer whatever questions you may have.
Thank you so much, Doc Jansen, for the very encouraging patient case presentation. I am sure that a lot of our viewers tonight, whether they are on treatment or newly diagnosed, are more eager to fight back and take action at this point. Good evening once again, everybody. Before we start up our AMA portion, I'd like to greet some avid viewers of ours, starting up with, of course, Miss Lily Neo of Malaysia, LJ Acosta, Vicky Ortega, and our dear Miss Jeanette Hu of Child House Manila. Good evening po. And of course, our dear new viewers, I'm seeing Mr. Poon Suifon Juliana, TBB, Rexy Bernal, and Al Mongkay. I'm guessing we have a lot of our viewers coming also outside the Philippines. Thank you so much for watching. Okay, now I can see a lot of questions coming in, so let's not keep you waiting. Let's now call on the experts who will answer all our questions for tonight, starting off with our CEO of Simply Nature, Mr. Shyan Lim, and of course, the president of SMG, Doc Jansen Kalalan. Good evening, Sir Shyan, and good evening, Doc Jansen.
Good evening, Sheila, and good evening, Doc Jansen. So nice to see both of you.
Yeah, hello everybody. Sheila and happy to be here.
You know, Doc, this particular tonight, the discussion of your cancer patient, who is the friend that I referred to Dr. Jansen, is just a case that honestly is so encouraging because when I first introduced her or referred her to you, Dr. Jansen, in my heart, of course, every time when I speak to her, it's all positive, positive, positive. But in my heart, I thought it was a very difficult case. The cancer had already spread to the brain. And when I saw her physically, because she was away for some time, her hair was in clumps. Everything did not look good. But yet, she turned everything around. She's healthy now. Her hair is growing back. She's so strong. So number one, Doc, I want to thank you for helping my friend. I want to thank you for seeing her through her chemotherapy sessions. So, normally when a person is in late stage cancer, they're so weak. So the fear is that you won't make it through chemotherapy. So again, this is just another great example, a combination of the best of every school of thought, right? We take the best of conventional medicine, the best of integrative medicine, the best of natural, and then my friend made it through. So this is not just another case of normal cancer or third stage, not even a regular case of a third stage cancer. This one was difficult, rare cancer, right? And I think it just proves that when you use all available options, you can overcome even the most difficult ones. So once again, Doc, thank you very much. Any comments? Actually, for her, how complicated was her cancer? Because I remember you were sharing with me the tumor was not just one cancer.
Yeah. Back then, when she had the biopsy, there were actually 5 types of cancer that the yes, 5 types that the pathologist was considering. Then upon further testing, they narrowed it down to PNET, which is the primitive neuroectodermal tumor.
Okay.
PNET is very, 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 very rare, okay, to pop up from the breast. No, typically, PNET, or the primitive neuroectodermal tumor, is a tumor that grows out of nerves. It's specifically out of the central nervous system. Okay, so the central nervous system would be your brain and your spine. Okay, that's where it naturally grows. But it came from the breast. So you can just imagine, right? So this thing is really very, very rare. Treatment options are very limited because the information that we have is just very few. So by the grace of God, actually, yep, she did well with the treatment, and up until now, she's doing quite good actually. So
Yeah.
I look forward to her follow up to actually see how she's doing.
It was so important because her story is something that I'm sure many of our viewers can identify with, because this friend of mine actually has 2 very young children, and she's also a very major breadwinner in her family. So the good news is that she was able to combat through all this, manage her finance, and still provide a future for her family. So that's just great. So let's go to the questions. I can see many of them coming up.
Thank you. All right, so to start off, our first question is coming from Miss Marisa Ginto. Doc, is healing possible in breast and thyroid cancer by taking PPARs without surgery and chemo?
Doc,
Yeah.
can I try this one first? Then you.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. Okay.
I wanted to answer this one first because if you ask that, then let me be the one that me and Doc Jansen might have slightly different answers. So at least you have 2 reference points, right? So honestly, prior to our research paper that came out in 2022, all right, last year, correct? I am a very strong advocate of, or I support fighting cancer naturally using natural methods only. Okay, surgery, yes. I was very hesitant towards chemotherapy. So because of that, many of our late stage cancer patients were able to have success, okay, successfully treat their cancer. But then, of course, there are also patients who don't make it, right? But even the ones that lost to the fight in cancer, they did it with good quality of life, okay? But just as conventional medicine, even if you use chemotherapy, there'll be cancer patients who make it and those who don't. But you know, when you use chemotherapy, when you don't make it, you also suffer a lot of usually you also suffer a lot of side effects. So on the natural side, prior to last year, I was very, I would say I would support people who want to try to fight cancer totally naturally. And we have had many success stories with that regards. So I think if your question is it possible? Then my answer to you is yes, it's possible. Okay, now this year is 2023. Last year, there came out a report. We did some clinical, we did some trials, research papers, and then we found out that our Simply Nature liquid extract could protect you from the damage and side effects from the chemotherapy. And this explains why many chemotherapy patients actually do very well on our product. So that gave me a slightly different approach in the year 2023 compared to 2022, right? Now that chemotherapy side effect can be managed or lessened, then suddenly what was dangerous or undesirable, which is the chemotherapy side effects, is now manageable. So what used to not look very attractive in 2020, which is chemotherapy, today looks more attractive. And I would no longer just blindly say yes, try to treat it naturally. Instead, what I would do is I would encourage you to meet a doctor like Dr. Jansen, right? Who will be able to give you a fair, I guess, advice on whether your case, maybe your cancer, maybe your breast cancer has very proven track record, because there are many types of breast cancer. Maybe your breast cancer is very suitable for particular chemotherapy or hormone therapy or immunotherapy, right? So I think I know that is drugs, right? So you were looking for natural, but what if your cancer happened to be the type that is very treatable with these? Then I think the combination of that treatment with PPARs will give you a better shot. So what I'm saying is, I know where you're coming from. I was like you also, but the research that came out and the results that came out in 2022, and you can see from Zaida, right? Remember Zaida? Okay. Oh no! As you can see from our patient case study this tonight, her first round she fought cancer without chemotherapy, and then it metastasized. So the second round she actually fought it successfully with combination. So I think that's where I want to comment. I would sincerely advise you to have a consult with Dr. Jansen so that you can make a good choice. Now, Doc, your turn.
Yeah. Okay. I'll answer to you straight. Okay. Difficult. Especially if the type of cancer that you have is an aggressive one. Okay. For breast cancer, if you are HER2 positive, then PPARs alone will not be enough. You need the other ones, the conventional one. Okay. Same with thyroid. However, here's the thing: for thyroid, there's an exception. Okay. For benign thyroid masses like thyroid cysts, PPARs alone can do it. Okay, because I've had patients who've been successful with it. Okay, this patient of mine, thyroid cyst, no, we did an ultrasound, so there were cysts on both thyroid glands. So the patient is already advised to undergo biopsy. However, the patient decided not to undergo biopsy and decided to try out PPARs first. After a few months, she went for the biopsy already. Lo and behold, one side, on one side, I think it was the left, no, the left thyroid cyst disappeared. So it was not biopsied anymore. So the one that got biopsied was the right, if I remember correctly. Then upon biopsy, it came out benign. So there you go, right? So for thyroid cysts, it can work. However, for thyroid cancers, especially for cancers, don't just rely on natural products alone. Okay, you have to consider the other treatment modalities, especially the conventional ones like your surgery, chemo, radiation, immunotherapy, targeted therapy, whatever that is applicable. Okay? So, the reason why is that this will give you the best outcome possible. Okay? Because the natural products, also yes, no, the natural products, we have evidences that it can kill cancer cells. However, the problem there is the rate of killing of cancer cells might not be fast enough. Okay? The cancer might be growing faster than the killing. Okay? So at the end of the day, it will say that you did not respond at all. Okay, so you have to up the killing capacity against cancer cells. Okay, so how do you do that? It's by employing or by using the other treatment modalities. Okay, so there you have it. However, for that matter, no, something that I noticed is that PPARs is really effective for cancers that is related to inflammation and metabolic diseases. Breast cancer is one of them. Okay.
Thank you, Doc. Sir Sean, are you going to add something?
No, I just want to say that, understanding with greater understanding, you will make better choices, and try to understand, try to understand. So that's why we have our program over here, right? So and then we give real case studies, and these are not simple cases, right? So with better understanding, you'll make better choices. Don't stick to your old understanding, because every year we find new ways and better ways to give you a better chance. All right. So the answer is go for a consult. As Dr. Jansen said, he did give you some hope. If your case happened to be specific, you might be able to go natural, but he will also and regardless, even if he recommends conventional, he will still also recommend natural together with it. All right. So you're still going to do what you believe in, and let's explore what are the best options for you.
Thank you. What, sir? What I like about our viewers tonight is they are really eager to take action. It's just that a matter of they really wanted to know which actions is the right one to take, and that's why they are watching now.
And I just want to say one last thing. I just want to say one last thing. Notice, Dr. Jansen and myself, notice that we are not cheering for natural or conventional. We are cheering for you. Yes. All right. We are not trying to prove natural is better or conventional is better. We only have one focus. We don't represent the natural. We don't represent the conventional. Our focus is based on everything that we know, what would be best for you to improve your chances so that you will win against your fight against cancer. Yeah.
Couldn't agree more. Thank you. So for our next question, this is very interesting. A lot of people are asking how to consult and where to find you, Dr. Jansen. So for those of you who wish to have a consult with Dr. Jansen, the link for you to book consult is on the description box and also on the comment section. Or you can just type in simply how to consult. Miss Beth of SMG will get in touch with you right away. All right.
Or Sheila, at the end of the webinar, please remind me. I'll share with everybody the schedule that I have at my various clinics where I hold clinics. Okay, so everybody who is on right now, if you are really interested to go for a consult, stay until the end of the program. I'll share to you guys where I'm where my practice is. Okay.
There you go. Thank you. I'm sure a lot of people are going to wait for that answer. Okay. So for the next question coming from Miss Elvira Maneja, sa Tagalog, meron po ako meningioma. Nag-try po ako mag-take ng PPAR. Nag-seizure na naman po last 2 times Saturday. Ano po bang dapat gawin? So she's in PPARs already. She has meningioma, but she experienced seizure last Saturday 2 times. So what should she do?
Okay. The one that is causing the seizure is the meningioma. So if the meningioma, okay, what is a meningioma? It is a tumor that grew out of the meninges. The meninges is it's a surface that encloses the brain. Okay, that's the meninges. Now,
when you have a tumor there, you frequently have headache. So it's a very, very uncomfortable tumor to have. Okay, so well, first of all, you have to get it removed, no? So what are the ways to treat meningioma? That would be radiation therapy and chemotherapy, of course. Surgery would also be one of them if it is still resectable, no? Um, yeah. To control the seizure, you would have to take medication, anti-seizure medication, unfortunately, and that's about it, no? That's about it on how we can control this. Okay. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Doc Jansen. Okay, another question comes from Ms. Connie Liang. LDL, high induction protein in it, will cause long-term growth tumor in time.
Okay. I think you okay. LDL is not that it doesn't mean that. Okay, LDL is low density lipoprotein. Okay, LDL, low density lipoprotein. So what is it? Okay, so LDL, or your low density lipoprotein, is a type of cholesterol. Okay, so it's a transporter. A transporter of what? A transporter of fats. Okay, that's what it does. Where does it bring the fat to? It brings the fat to your arteries. All right. So it's the main type of cholesterol that deposits cholesterol and also fats to your arteries that causes arterial plaques or atherosclerosis. Now, LDL does not cause, or an elevated LDL does not cause cancer. Okay? It just means that you are doing something that causes the elevation of LDL and at the same time increases your risk of developing cancer. Okay? Now, how does LDL increase? LDL increases when you have an increased intake of saturated fats. Okay, so saturated fats are typically the type of fat that is solid in room temperature. That would be your butter. Okay, your margarine. Okay, what else? Saturated fats can also be found in processed foods. Saturated fat can be found in dairy products. What else? Meat products as well. Your oil have saturated fats. Okay? So, if you have an increased consumption of those foods that I have just mentioned, then you also increase your risk of developing cancer. Okay? I'll give you one example. Processed meat. Processed meat is a carcinogen. It causes colorectal cancer, breast cancer, prostate cancer. Okay? So that's how. And the processed meat intake definitely increases your LDL. Also your cholesterol, your total cholesterol. No? So that's how it is related. Okay? I hope it is clear. All right? It's LDL, low density lipoprotein. That is also the type of cholesterol which we call as bad cholesterol. Okay? So yeah. There you have it.
I just want to add that for this particular issue on LDL, Dr. Jansen has a lot of experience with this already. And the solution is actually very simple. Just go on PEPFAR tablets, all right? You can get our PEPFAR tablets directly, and the dosage is very simple, all right? The PEPFAR tablets are very small, micro tablet chewable. You will start with 10 micro tablets 2 times a day. And how fast will you see the results? Within a month, you will see improvements if you go and do your blood works, all right? If you do your CBC. So for this particular thing, for blood cholesterol, blood sugar, just PEPFAR tablets, give yourself 1 month, you will see improvement. It will normalize for most people within 3 months. And this also allows you to get off your maintenance meds for those who are on maintenance meds for these metabolic syndromes. That's your diabetes, your blood sugar, your blood cholesterol, and of course hypertension that's usually resulting from a combination of many metabolic syndromes. All right, so watch out for that. You can just inquire if you want to know what is the protocol, what's the dosage, and then we can cover. Someone will assist you. Doc, I see many questions on breast cancer. I think they are very suitable for you to answer.
Yeah,
And
okay,
very
let's
good, because
yeah.
I see a lot of them very good, and I think you have a direct answer, and I think you will really give them clarity and peace of mind. Yeah.
Yeah, I see them. So okay, let's get it on. Let's answer as many as possible tonight.
Okay, sir. Okay, Doc. So the next question coming from Miss K. Ruby, it's a little bit long. Okay. can I have an idea po for the plant-based diet? Want to follow it. I am doing low-carb diet po. Pero may mets po ako sa lymph nodes, sa abdomen area, at sa kanan kilikili or armpit. After complete series of chemotherapy and 16/18 targeted therapy. Now, I am done with the 18 sessions targeted therapy, breast cancer stage 3C, nung na-diagnose last Feb 2022. Stage 4, nitong May 2023 due to lymph nodes. So, nag-elevate doc ang kanyang graph.
Yeah, I would suspect that it is because of the low carb diet. But here's the thing, no? I also need to know the composition of the low carb diet. What kind of low carb diet is this? Because typically, the first thing that comes to mind is when you talk about low carb diet is the ketogenic diet. So for the ketogenic diet, that is a diet that is very high in fats and protein, but very low in your carbohydrates. Okay? Ketogenic diet actually worsens cancer, specifically breast cancer, because when you are on a low carb diet or on a ketogenic diet, what does it do? You go on ketosis, di ba? Ketosis is you go on ketosis, so meaning your body produces a lot of ketones, which will be the fuel that will be used by your body. Okay, unfortunately, ketones also feeds the cancer. Okay, so this might be one reason. So if you are really interested on following a plant-based diet, okay, I'll share it with you now, so you'll have a general idea, so you can implement it immediately. So the same question later, okay? So plant-based diet. So by plant-based diet, it means that you consume only plant. So what are plant? That will be your fruits, vegetables, beans, nuts, and seeds, and whole grains. Okay? What are the whole grains that is common in the Philippines? That would be oats, brown rice, red rice, and black rice. Okay? For beans, nuts, and seeds, everybody will know that. That will be your mongo, your tofu, your garbanzos or your chickpeas, your split peas, your green peas, anything that grows out of a pan, basically. Okay? So you center the food that you're eating around those food groups that I have just mentioned. Which particular vegetables or plant food you need to eat, you have to go for a consult already, okay? Because it's just too long, too many. I usually give away a handout to patients. It's around, I think it's 7 pages, no? So, but for that matter, that is how you do it. So what foods should you be avoiding? You have to avoid all foods that is sourced from animals. Okay? Because animal protein can make tumors grow. Okay? Especially for breast cancer, prostate cancer, colorectal cancer. Okay? So be careful. All right? So I think I have answered your question to the best I can. Okay? So if you really need my help, then I suggest set up an appointment with us. Okay?
Thank you, Doc. Go ahead, Sir Shyan.
Yeah, I really want to say this. Not only is it for cancer, when your body in general is not feeling well, when you move to a plant-based diet, that means eating vegetables, fruits, nuts, all right? Even if you just do it for like 3 to 5 days, you will see and feel a lot of positive effects. All right. So definitely, if it helps for even just general well-being, it would definitely help for cancer. Of course, Dr. Jansen, for cancer patients, some of them, especially if they go through therapy, they get thin. And your advice may seem to be opposite of what some of their uncles will be asking them to do. Because some of their uncle will recommend them to drink milk, to eat meat, because they are getting thin and they need the protein. So okay, number one, are their uncles wrong? If you are recommending plant-based, and we all in general understand why eating plant-based, even for just to feel good, it is really better. So how come the uncles will make the mistake, or why are they still recommending meat and milk? What is their drive? What is driving them to do that?
Yeah. Their main drive is to help you gain weight because they're so thin already. And since the burden of undergoing chemotherapy and radiation therapy, these therapies, no, their side effects are really bad. So they want to build you up nutritionally, because when you undergo these treatments, you'll grow thin. Okay, so they want to let you eat as much as you can. However, the problem there is, yes, the intention is correct. Okay, increase the amount of calories that you are eating so you don't grow thin. However, the problem there is the type of food affects the tumor. It affects our body immensely. Okay, so that's the missing part there. Okay, so also please don't how should I say this? Um, please go don't I don't know if the term is correct. Please don't get turned off by this thing if your oncos are doing it, or prescribing such, no, or recommending these things to you, because they want you to get well. They want to build you up nutritionally. Okay, so the intention is correct. If you are so thin already, then it might work. No, however, if you are someone overweight or obese, you have to lose weight. Okay, because overweight and obesity shortens your overall survival, or the amount of time that you live, no, when you after getting diagnosed with cancer, and it also increases your recurrence rate. So it's better to lose weight actually. All right. But of course, for that matter, no, if you're already very thin, you have to gain weight as well. On the other hand, so um, how can you gain weight? No, still you have to be very careful of what you're eating. So you have to select specific plant foods that can give you the most calories possible. And for that matter, we will now rely on meal replacement supplements like your plant-based Ensure, for example. Okay, so in that sense, then we can build you up. They usually make you gain weight. Okay, for that matter, but you have to eat and eat and eat and eat. You have to eat a lot, basically. Okay, so it's still the same principle. It's just that the the type of food that I'm telling you to eat is different from what your average, probably your old Opo does. How your old Opo does it. But right now, just an update, no. The American Society of Cancer, ASCO, no, the American counterpart of the Medical Society of Oncologists in the US, is very careful already when it comes to nutrition. They also prescribe a plant-based diet, and not not eat all you can diet. Okay, so there you have it. I mean, we're all aligned already over here. Okay, so don't worry. The information that you will get most likely will be the same. But again, if your onco is telling you to eat whatever you can, whatever you like, the intention is correct. They want to build you up nutritionally. It's just that it will now be your responsibility to know more which food will be correct to eat, which food will not be the right food for you. Okay.
So
go ahead.
yeah,
Go ahead.
go, Sheila, go. It's always nice to hear you say something.
Because I just remembered in one of our webinars, Doc Jansen actually shared one of his patients wherein the patient actually gained weight during the treatment, and that is under plant-based whole food diet. So it's really amazing, and it's really possible, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
actually, I want to say something. I know, okay, because I always joke with Dr. Johnson, because I work with a lot of lifestyle medicine doctors, right? And many of them are completely vegan. And I always sometimes pull him to the side. How come they are a bit, on the
Overweight.
Yeah, how come they are overweight? I thought if you eat plants, you should be thinner, right? So that's just an evidence to let you know. Just because you eating plant-based food is not a diet plan, all right? Is that the source of the nutrition, proteins, all these things are actually healthier and less and not carcinogenic. Okay, again, if there are some doctors who recommend, like for example, you drink milk and protein shakes and things like that, it's because they are doing it with the right intention. However, when you in a study in a field of conventional medicine, you always have to be updated. It is being updated. Just like last time, there was chemotherapy. Now there's immunotherapy, right? So even understanding about nutrition changes with the times. It's not that the seasons change things. It's that we better understand how the nutrition affects our body, right? Okay, so yeah, that's it. I saw one question I think I can just take right now. It's Miss Lo, I think, is asking, is taking almond milk a good alternative to cow's milk? The answer is yes. Another really good alternative is oat milk. It tastes great too. And or just to take calcium tablets. Doc, okay, this is Doc, just is from me. And I would like to hear, I didn't get to discuss this with you, you know. There has been also some, like, I won't say scandal, but I guess some confusion, because there are also many cases where calcium pills are actually is a type of supplement that even normal conventional doctors are getting more and more recommend. However, there is also many books and many websites and health gurus that are cautioning against the dangers of calcification. Because when you take calcium pills, these are concentrated calcium mineral. It's not the same as eating your pek chai and your kangkong, your spinach, you know. It's a different type of calcium when you take a calcium supplement. And that actually leads to things like kidney stones and stones, right? So what's your comment about that for Miss Low? She said, is almond milk a good source of like calcium, or maybe even other oat milk or whatever? And should she do that? And she says she wants to take calcium tablets. So maybe another question that she has is, what's the best way to get calcium without resulting in a calcification or kidney stones?
Yeah. I would have to ask you first, why are you trying to supplement yourself with calcium in the first place?
Maybe I see a profile picture is someone around my age, so maybe as we grow older, or women as a lady, so maybe osteoporosis and things like that.
Yes, because humans, doesn't really need to supplement calcium that much. Okay. However, here's the thing about calcium supplements, usually OBGYNs and cardiologists tend to fight between, not really fight though, but they are on both ends of the spectrum when it comes to calcium supplements. Reason why calcium supplements can increase calcification, so in your arteries. So when your arteries gets calcified, that means that it has arterial plaques already. So if it has arterial plaque, that's not good, because that would result into cardiovascular diseases. That can result to a heart attack and stroke, and many others like CKD, gangrene, and whatever. Okay. So that's on one side. No, cardiologists tend to not prescribe calcium supplements. On the other hand, since ladies, you menstruate, okay, and there's this risk of developing osteoporosis later on. That's why OBGYNs would really want you to take in calcium supplements. Okay. However, the thing is there, if you continue on supplementing with calcium, yes, you won't have osteoporosis, but you will now have heart disease. Okay. Here's the thing. Okay. So where will you side? For men, it's easy. Okay. I'm not menstruating anyway, so. But for women,
men don't lose calcium due to menses, so we don't actually need to take calcium pills. All right. Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Ladies can tell your husbands that, right? Okay.
Yeah. For ladies, it's different, because you will now have a dilemma. Okay. So how would I approach this? Okay. What is the number one cause of death of humanity? It's cardiovascular diseases.
Yeah.
Cardiovascular. So
That's
if it's
a bigger
cardiovascular, okay, chances are, if you take a look at the statistics, or probability, which would be more probable in you dying? Will you die from heart disease or osteoporosis more?
Definitely heart disease.
Heart disease. Okay. So
the answer is clear.
Remove the calcium supplement, right? Remove the calcium supplement because of this issue. Now, you're afraid of osteoporosis. Yes.
What can we do?
Yeah, what can we do? How can we make our bones strong? Exercise. Physical activity is the one that builds bones, not calcium. Okay? The bones or the skeletal system is just a depository of calcium. Okay? So, if you stress your bones, if you exercise, if you are physically active, then you will tell your body, you will tell your brain to deposit more calcium to your bones. Okay? Because you need it, because you're physically active. Okay? If you are sedentary, why will you need your bones? You're not moving at all. Diba? The physical demand is so low that, yeah, the calcium might be better used somewhere else. So, what will the brain do? The brain will tell your body to withdraw calcium from your bones. Then later on, you suffer from osteoporosis. And then you continue to consume products that increases your risk of developing osteoporosis. Okay, what are those? Your soda, your meat products, your dairy. Okay, dairy, I said it, dairy will not build your bones. It will in fact withdraw calcium from your bones all the more. Okay.
Wow, that is something very, very important to know. And now I just thought of something slightly funny, because people who are overweight, I know in my family, and I know friends who are overweight but not lazy. I always laugh at them because number one, they are overweight, but they like to wear Under Armour, which is so tight. Okay. And it makes their belly very obvious, but they wear Under Armour and sports attire because I have many friends who are super overweight, but they play soccer. So they are running up and down the field, even though they have a huge tummy, right? And I noticed something about them. They have big bones.
Yeah.
Because I guess when you are heavy and running, your bones have to be strong to withstand the impact, So this is very different from people who are overweight and just watch TV. But I mean, there are people who are overweight and they do a lot of exercise. They walk a lot. Maybe they work construction site, or they work in a market, or they play soccer like my friends. And they actually, you can tell they have like strong bones, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's a good example of exercise.
Yes, no. And another point, no. Let's just put this to the extreme, no. So you'll get what we're saying. Astronauts. Okay, when you're in space, you weigh less because there's less gravity. Okay,
Yeah,
and
your
what
bone
is the side
density
effect?
drops.
Bone density drops. Osteoporosis is one problem for astronauts. Okay, so yeah, so if you're here on Earth and you are underweight, you're not exercising at all more you're gonna be prone to osteoporosis. Yeah, so you have to exercise.
Okay.
So
for those who want stronger bones, do weight training. I mean, carrying weights. All these will make your bones stronger. All right. Doc, I think there are many cancer questions. Let's really answer them. But there's one question I want to answer right now. Poon asked, can normal healthy people eat pea bars? The answer is yes, you should and you must. Okay. It's the best supplement, basic foundational supplement that you can get. But healthy people don't need to take soft gel or extracts, okay? You can if you want the super anti-aging effect, but to be healthy, you want to take the PIPA tablets, all right? And how many tablets do you want to take? You want to take between 10 to 20 micro tablets a day, all right? I don't really count. I just pour in my hand and I eat, all right? So what are the benefits? The benefits are you will manage all your metabolic syndromes. That means if you are borderline diabetes, or maybe you are diabetic, but you don't know it yet, right? Your cholesterol, your diabetes, your chronic inflammation, which is almost everybody now has a higher level of inflammation because of COVID-19. Most of us have gotten COVID-19 once in the last 3 years, and that has resulted in higher rates of inflammation in your body. So taking PIPA tablets also does help with a lot with that. It actually strengthens your immune system. Specifically, we know why. I won't go too much into detail right now, but it does strengthen your immune system in a different way from your vitamin C. Okay, it helps with acidity. So if you have gout and inflammation like that, that's going to help you a lot. And last but not least, I take PPAR tablets not only for health but for vanity. I am 49 years old in slightly more than 1.5 months, okay? And I'll be 50 years old next year. So it's not just the filter that you see tonight, okay? Me and Doc Jansen are very different in ages, but hopefully our look is not too different. Okay, so the anti-aging effect of PPAR tablets is wonderful if you are consistently taking it. So yes, and of course, if it helps a person fight cancer and support a person through their chemotherapy and everything, taking PPAR tablets would be a great anti-cancer protocol or regimen that you can do. And it covers so many things, right? It covers anti-cancer, anti-diabetes, anti-blood cholesterol, all this is because it deals with the basic things like the inflammation and all that. Okay, so yeah. Now let's go to the cancer questions, Sheila.
Just want to echo very, very quickly. Once again, if you don't have any health illness and you are taking PPARs, definitely it will act as anti-aging. So who doesn't want that, right? Okay, so for the next question, coming from Ms. Zanaida Villariza, is anastrozole a lifetime maintenance for breast cancer, or how long am I going to take anastrozole?
It's not lifetime. It's not lifetime. However, right now there were some changes in the guidelines. Okay, so initially that is being given around 5 years. Okay, so after getting diagnosed with breast cancer, if you're hormone sensitive, then you have to be on anastrozole for 5 years. Actually, it's 5 to 10 years, but 5 years is the benchmark. Okay, now they changed the benchmark. They increased it to 8 years. Okay, so it would be around almost a decade actually that you have to be on it. Okay, and they were able to find out that if you are on anastrozole for a longer period of time, then the chances of the cancer coming back is lower, and you also live longer. So yeah, make sure that you're taking your anastrozole. Okay, so there you have it. Right? It's not lifetime. It's just a very long time.
Good news. Thank you, Doc. Alright, another question coming from Mr. Willie Obus. Good evening po. Baby ko po may Wilms tumor. Is it possible to just cure it through PPARs without operation? Napag-chemotherapy na po namin siya. Isang session lang. Hindi na namin pinatapos ang 4-cycle chemo kasi parang hindi niya kakayanin ang chemo.
Yeah, Wilms tumor, for everybody's information, is a tumor. It's actually the most common tumor that is coming from the kidneys in kids. Okay, so that's Wilms tumor or your nephroblastoma. The thing is, it's also very rare. Okay, so I don't think just relying on PPARs will do the trick. And if Wilms tumor patients also tend to have a very bad prognosis. Okay, so if I were you, I will have it removed if possible. Surgery is still the mainstay treatment for this. And together with the surgery, chemotherapy as well. No, so the main purpose of the chemotherapy at this point is just to kill off the microscopic cancer cells. Okay, and for that, having said that, if you are quite afraid that as a kid, no, your child, you're going to have him or her undergo chemotherapy at such a young age, rest assured that PPARs will definitely be able to help with the side effects. It's just that we have to make sure that the chemotherapy that the onco prescribed does not interact with PPARs. Okay, so if you are really interested, just schedule an appointment. Okay, so I can make the correct prescription. Okay, but for that matter, don't just rely on PPARs alone. Okay, yeah, make sure to utilize the other recommendations of your onco as well. Okay.
So I think this is so helpful for many parents asking this question because I think for many of us, we hope that we can find one magic pill, right? To solve your medical problems. It could be one surgery, Doc, can I do surgery but not chemo? Doc, can I do chemo but not surgery? Doc, can I? So I think that there is this concept that we want to do one thing, and then we get back our health. The answer is it's just like you asked Doc Jansen, right? Doc, can I just eat healthy and don't exercise? The answer, Doc, is
No. You have to do both. Okay,
and
you have
you
to do
can't
both.
say, Doc, I exercise a lot, so can I eat unhealthy? Obviously, no.
Yeah.
So I think here's the good principle here. So, but if you're uncomfortable, if you're worried, all right, it's like, oh, well, will this affect my child's growth? Will it affect his intelligence? Will it affect his height? Because if he goes for chemotherapy, all that, you know what? Instead of just worrying, why don't you ask a doctor like Dr. Jansen? All right, and then have your questions clear. So the answer is you ask him. All right. There are other cancer things here. That's why let's go to another topic. But a quick one. Someone asked, Fuentes asked, do plant-based mean all organic too? Can I give a practical answer, Doc? It's not easy to get all organic. All right, and then it's also not cheap to get all organic. So start with being able to be plant-based and get as much organic as you can. All right, don't kill yourself to eat only organic vegetables. All right, start with making sure that you go on a plant-based diet, and then after that, do your best to get organic if it's available where you are. Doc, your comments about that?
Come again.
Your comments about this, about do plant-based means all organic?
No, not really. Plant-based doesn't mean organic. Okay, organic just means that they did not use any antibiotics or any pesticides during the growing. Okay. But for that matter, if you are quite afraid of the pesticides, it's easy to clean off the pesticides that attaches to the vegetables. Okay, it can be removed by running water alone. However, there will still be some residues. If you want it to be pristine, as in really clean, then what you need to do is just to bathe it or soak it in salted water. Okay,
Yeah.
how much is the mix? It's 1 part salt to 9 parts water.
So
Okay,
10%.
Correct.
10%.
Okay, so yeah.
There you go.
Thank you. All right. Thank you, Doc. Thank you, Sir Shyan. Another question coming from Ms. Delia Lorenzo. I'm Delia, diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer, and I was recommended by my uncle to start taking Ibrance palbociclib. Is this a chemo med, and are there side effects?
It's not chemo. Palbociclib is a type of a targeted therapy. Okay, how it kills cancer is the same with chemo. However, the healthy cells are not affected.
Oh wow! So that means it's safer.
Yeah, that's why it's targeted.
It's targeted. So it's a more advanced form. So that's good news. And please take PIPA protocols together with your treatment. This will just make everything better because the PIPA also helps with your other organs. When you fight cancer, you don't want your other organs to not be healthy as well. All right. So just like a snippet of information. Again, why should healthy people also take PIPA tablets? Is number one, it's a great liver aid, kidney aid, all that as well. So again, it helps. It's like again, and the reason why it helps with the liver, kidney, has got to do with inflammation. One part, and of course, the phytonutrients and so on and so forth. But yeah, all right.
Makes sense, sir, because some of our patients who have diabetes, hypertension while having cancer are also addressed, right?
Yeah, and then after they take the PIPA protocol, not only do they do well in cancer, but their diabetes, their blood cholesterol, everything really improves. All right, so that's always good. Yeah.
Yes, Dr. Jansen.
Yeah. To answer the second question, does palbociclib or Ibrance have side effects? Yes. The more common side effect of Ibrance, it affects your blood counts. Okay, so it's very similar also to how chemotherapy affects our blood counts. No, it can decrease your white blood cell count.
yeah, that's actually one of the more common symptoms, no? One of the more common side effects. Another one would be nausea, vomiting, appetite, tiredness or fatigue. So these things. Okay, so definitely there is side effects similar to chemotherapy. Okay, however, rest assured that the healthy cells will not be affected as much compared to the chemotherapy, because chemotherapy is really like a nuclear bomb. Okay, it affects everything. All right. So yeah, there you have it.
Doc, I want to handle this question because I have an interesting answer. Amelia Rivera asked if a cancer patient has recovered, okay, and then she suffers another health issue like COVID-19. Can we conclude that the recurrence of the cancer will happen, right? So I just want to use a very simple analogy for anybody who has this idea. And this idea, what I'm going to share is a way you can look at many of how you approach your health as a cancer patient, okay? Let's say you're going to walk on the street, okay? Are you going to walk on the street? And then it rains, okay? So it's like you're a cancer patient, you recovered, right? And then suddenly you have another illness like COVID-19. So it's like you are walking down the street and then it rains. Just because it rains doesn't mean that you will fall. No, it doesn't. But it does mean that there's a higher risk of falling. So what must you do? You must wear rubber shoes, right? You shouldn't wear shoes without grip because now the road is wet, right? So specifically for Ms. Rivera, since you have the patient who has survived cancer, beat cancer, now if they have undergone another illness like COVID-19, so I'll give you some understanding. One of the things that feeds cancer or a precursor to cancer is inflammation, right? That's why if you are inflamed, your tumors grow faster as well. So COVID-19 causes chronic inflammation throughout the body. So that means it increases your risk of getting cancer. Does it mean that the patient will have a recurrence? No, it's just like after it rains and when you go out and walk on the street, does it mean that you will fall? No. But it does mean that the road is slippery and there's a good chance that you might fall. So you got to do something in reaction to the rain, right? So you're going to put on rubber shoes. So, okay, you're a cancer patient, suddenly you got COVID-19. Doesn't mean that you're going to get your cancer going to come back. No, not at all. But it does mean that your body is in a condition that if you don't do anything, your risk of recurrence is going to increase, right? So if you got COVID-19 and you're a cancer survivor, then you got to do something, right? So one thing you want to do is you got to reduce your chronic inflammation. So normal supplements like multivites, vitamin C, these are antioxidants, but antioxidants is different from lowering your chronic inflammation, okay? So PPAR tablets actually specifically do that. So that is why, and if you're already eating PPAR's tablet, and now you recovered from COVID-19, and you want to make sure that your chances of getting cancer is not increased, right? Recurrence is not increased. What do? Eat more PPAR tablets for the next, I guess, 1 month until you also feel better, right? You don't have any brain fog or anything. You're not susceptible. You will feel your energy came back. Your breathing, everything is good. So you can tell your own body also, as you get healthy, once you get healthy, you remember the feeling and you know when you're not healthy. So you can do things like that. Or for example, if you are on PPAR tablets and then you just recover from COVID-19 and you're thinking, you know what, I'm a cancer patient, I just want to do something extra just to make sure. So maybe I'll take the soft gel capsules for a month, right? And during this 1 month after I recover from COVID, I will refrain from eating a lot of meat, all right? I will refrain from drinking too much dairy, just so that I am back to as strong as I can be. So I think that's the proper approach and so don't need to scare yourself, okay? Just because you got COVID-19 doesn't mean you're going to have cancer recurrence, but it does mean that you got to do something. It's like it rained, the road is slippery, make sure you wear the proper shoes. So you're a cancer survivor, you have another disease, another illness, make sure you do something to reduce your risk of the cancer coming back. But it doesn't mean that you will get a recurrence. Doc?
Yeah. Short answer is COVID-19 does not have anything to do with cancer. If you have COVID-19, you will not develop cancer, nor will your cancer recur. If you, it's not related to cancer. COVID-19, getting COVID-19. Okay, so don't worry about COVID-19.
Yeah, don't
All
scare
right.
yourself. But you got to watch the chronic inflammation that comes from COVID-19, right?
Mhm. Yes, yes.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you, sir. All right. Another question coming from Ms. LJ Acosta. If breast cancer metastasis in lymph nodes does that mean cancer cells also runs in the blood despite undergoing MRM and ancillary dissection?
Yes, yes, definitely. No. So here's the thing. How does breast cancer spread? It primarily spreads through the lymph system, the lymphatic system. Okay, and the lymph nodes is part of the lymphatic system. Okay, and where does breast cancer, if it will spread, no, where does it go? Where does it usually spread to first? That would be the lymph nodes located under your armpit. That is why when you undergo a surgery, they remove your breast together with the lymph nodes under your armpit, okay, to see if there are cancer cells already present there, okay, because that is very important to know because that will determine the kind of treatment that you have to undergo later on, okay. So if the lymph nodes is positive for cancer cells, then the stage would be at least stage 2 already. Okay, and for that matter, you will need chemotherapy because if there are cancer cells in the lymph node, no, there might be cancer cells already circulating elsewhere in your body, ready to attach to another organ and grow and spread. So that would be your metastasis. All right, that is why your onco will give you chemotherapy or whatever systemic treatment, to address that. Okay, so this is why don't just rely on surgery. You have to undergo other treatment modalities as well. This is why doctors don't just recommend surgery. They don't just recommend chemo. They recommend multiple treatment modalities. Okay, so yeah, there you have it. Okay.
Oh, I just wanted to add, both in natural, like for example, naturopathic practice, and of course, traditional Chinese medicine. What you said is so easy to understand from our point of view, because from the conventional doctor onco, because the cancer went into the lymph node and it might already circulate throughout the lymph, right? So the TCM in the very first place, their approach is already comprehensive. That means they will strengthen every organ in your body because the whole body works in tandem. They might put special emphasis on particular herbs and drugs in their formulation that is specifically to address certain issues or strategies for cancer, but it's still going to be a holistic approach straight away. So I think this is so important for cancer patients tonight to understand that if you just go for a chemotherapy, if you just only take your chemotherapy drug, but if you don't understand that your cancer, you need your whole body to be fighting it, and it's a function of not. If you have a breast cancer, it's not the function of your breast lymph nodes that is going to be that you want to address. You want to address your entire body, your whole immune system. Your liver, your kidney is intrinsic part of your immune system. Your pancreas, your bone marrow, all that is very important in the whole functioning of your immune system, either directly or indirectly. Your gut, making sure you take dietary fiber just so that your body will produce, things like butyrates, as Dr. Jansen has shared in another lecture, is going to be important for your fight against cancer. So you can see how it's so dangerous to think that when you fight cancer, you only take chemotherapy or you only take wheatgrass or you only take... No, you got to understand, you got to have the holistic approach. So this is also why the PIPA protocol is so effective, because the PIPA protocol, although it's one item, it affects many organs, all right? and as Dr. Jansen say, and I would agree with him, that do use products that Simply Nature doesn't produce. All right, if you because it could add, for example, taking turmeric, right? So if you take your PEPA tablets and capsules together with turmeric, that's going to be good for you. All right, so go ahead and do different combinations to get a better result. But I would say that among all the things that you can take, the PEPA tablets, capsules will be the foundational because it covers everything. So it's like the place that you start. And then after taking PEPA tablets, if you still feel that you're lacking in any specific area, then you take those specific things that will boost that area. But if you want to start, you want to take the PEPA protocol because it will boost everything. Then from there, you just see any lack, you add to that. All right. So that's a simple strategy when it comes to your natural supplementation. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Sir, it's 9 o'clock, but can we answer like at least 2 more
No, I
questions?
think we should answer because I noticed a lot of
Okay.
people questions are very specific. Like Marisol asked,
Yes.
is gemcitabine and
Carboplatin
carboplatin safe, right? So these are very specific questions. Let's try and answer the one with quick short answers. Then in that case, for quick short answers, I will keep quiet now and let Dr. Jansen answer.
Okay, the last two questions that I have here is that one is about germcitabine and carboplatin. Is it safe to be taken alongside PPARs? And the other one is health other things. So both are about PPARs.
What's the second question,
Can you-
Sheila? You got cut off. Okay. Let's answer the first
Sorry,
question first.
Okay.
Okay, let's answer the first one. No, gemcitabine
About
and
PPARs.
carboplatin.
What's
Yeah.
the second question, Sheila? You
Okay, I'll answer now. Okay,
Yeah, you answer. Sorry.
Yeah. Gemcitabine and carboplatin, is it safe to take PPARs together? We have to space it out. Okay, you have to space it out, but it's
I'll answer
safe.
now,
It's
okay?
safe. Okay. The reason why you have to space it out is because gemcitabine, carboplatin can interact with PPARs. Okay, it's how these two chemotherapeutic drugs kill cancer. All right. So, how will you take this? You have to go for a consult. I cannot make the recommendation outright because I do not know the schedule. Okay. So, you have to go for a consult. But definitely, if you want to lessen the side effect of these two chemotherapeutic drugs on your bone marrow, definitely PPARs will be able to help. Okay.
Okay, thank you,
There's
Doc.
another question by
Yes.
Mr. Santos. Breast cancer stage 4 bone metastasis patient taking letrozole, fulvestrant, zoledronic, and triptyline. Yeah. So Doc, did you locate this one?
I heard. What's the question?
Okay. Okay. Let me read the whole thing. Right. For hormonal therapy, then diagnose progression tumor on my right lower back lumbar, then undergo radiation for 10 days. I was in pain from lower lumbar until my legs, and my tumor marker gets higher from 300 to 3094. My uncle suggested to change meds. What can you say about his situation?
Yeah, correct. If the strategy is not working, you have to adjust. Okay? So I'm with your uncle. Definitely change your medication because they're not working. All right? Because when you are already on these medications, then at least it will slow down the progression of the tumor, if not stop it completely. Okay. However, even after taking these medication, it seems that your condition worsened. All right, in the tumor markers even 10 times. No, so definitely change the strategy. Okay. You might
have to undergo another set of biopsy. So be ready if your onco suggests that, because breast cancer or cancer cells can evolve. It can mutate. It can change from being hormone receptor sensitive to not being hormone receptor sensitive already anymore. Okay, so these things can happen. So definitely change your medication. Okay.
So for Mr. Santos' question, I also want to say that while your onco is gonna maybe like as Dr. Jansen said, get ready for biopsy, it's because they want to check the state of the tumor so that they can know what are the drugs they will try next. Okay, but on the other hand, there are things that you can do immediately, all right, immediately that will help your condition with cancer. That is go for a consult with Dr. Jansen. Check your lifestyle, check a PIPA protocol that's suitable for you, because this is independent. Whether or not you're going to use whatever drugs that new drugs your onco might recommend to you, you still got to make sure that you are doing whatever you can when it comes to your supplements that have no contraindication with your protocols, and also what changes you need to make to your lifestyle. Like for example, maybe you're feeling very weak right now. Maybe Dr. Jansen is going to say, even no matter how weak you are, you've got to do some simple movements and not just lie down all the time, no matter how tired it's, how difficult it is, right? So these are things that you have to do immediately, even while waiting for your onco to decide what's the next drugs to try. So I would definitely recommend that you have a consult with Dr. Jansen, so that there are things that you can do immediately and not just wait for the next biopsy results and the next consult with your onco. Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you. Baby, last question coming from Ms. Deepak Bahani Jain. Yes, is Halaven or eribulin mesylate a chemo drug?
Yes, it is. It is a chemotherapeutic drug.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Last question. Can tamoxifen be taken with PFAS?
Yes, definitely. It won't have any interaction.
All right.
Okay.
Excellent. Thank you, Sir Shyan, and thank you, Dr. Jansen. Of course, just before we say goodbye to our viewers, just quick parting words for our avid viewers who might be on prevention, might be on current treatment, and also on preventing relapse. What can you say to them?
I'll start. I'll just say that I think tonight's program is helpful to many people, and I notice I think tonight's program it's very interesting because patients don't know what drugs they're taking. They know the name of the drug, but they don't actually know what the drug is. So that's why, I mean, these questions like, is this a chemotherapy drug? Is this not? I think this is number one. It shows that this program is helpful to you because you asked a question. That means there was something you wanted to know. So we're very glad that we're able to help you tonight. And I also noticed a lot of people are asking, can this drug be taken with PPARs? So I'm also very encouraged. Get on a PPAR protocol. It's going to help you in your fight against cancer. And it's so good that you can get a concrete answer. Since you know what drug you're taking, you just want to make sure. So this is so much better than you going to healthy options and then you don't know whether the girl at healthy options even know what she's talking about, right? Because she may not know your drug. She may not know whether that vitamin will have contraindication. So that's why I think this program is so helpful. I'm very appreciative of Dr. Jansen because he's dealing with the cancer patients. He's so familiar with these drugs and he will be able to give you a concrete answer. So I hope that you're blessed tonight. More importantly, I hope that you have developed a clarity to be able to take a step for a positive step towards your treatment. Yeah. Doc?
Yeah. So for everybody, thank you for watching and thank you for all your questions. So definitely a lot of people learned from the questions that you have asked. No, so keep on asking them. And for those of you who seem to, think that your options are all exhausted already, it's not true. Okay, there will always be another strategy that can be used in your situation. Okay, so don't lose hope. All right, just continue asking questions because there is always something that we can do for you. Okay, so
The clinic schedule. Can we show the clinic schedule? If not, then just say it out loud. Okay. So listen carefully. There are two ways on how you can consult. That's online or face to face. If it's online, then yeah. If it's online, just
Screenshot it.
yeah, okay, it's on. So if it's online, it's very easy. Okay, we have our own platform that we just send you a link, then you can just click on that link, then you'll be on the platform. It's very easy to use. Okay, so you don't have to download anything. Okay, so my schedule for online consultations is Monday, actually it's Monday to Friday. Okay, yeah, even Saturdays. It's Monday through Saturdays with the specified times. If you want to see me face to face, then there are two locations. One is at Centuria Medical Makati. I'm there on Tuesdays and Saturdays. And make sure that you message us first before going, because I'm only there if there's a booking, if there's an appointment, if there's a patient that I need to see. All right. Um, there's another location where you can see where you can see me face to face is at Alta Integrative Medicine Center at Perpetual Health Medical Center, Las Piñas. Okay, it's at Perpetual Health Medical Center, Las Piñas, at their Integrative Medicine Center. Okay, so I'm there on Wednesdays and Fridays. Okay, on set an appointment, or you can just message us so we can help you set the appointment. Okay, so there you have it.
So,
Thank you, Dr. Jansen, and thank you, Sir Shyan. Of course, on behalf of our
oh wait, Sheila,
ahead,
just
sir.
one,
Go
one
ahead.
thing. There's one viewer who said that she learned so much and she hopes that we'll conduct another webinar similar to this. I just want to let everybody know we conduct a webinar every Thursday without fail, even in Christmas season or whatever holiday season. We are always here on Thursday with a different topic, okay? But there's always this segment that you all enjoy tonight, which is ask us any questions you want. So you can ask about any disease, any medical related questions you can ask us, all right? So yeah, so your request of us doing another webinar like that, it is done every Thursday, 7:30, all right?
That's right. Oh, you know what, sir? It's good that this has been brought up, because if you wish for us to have if you wish to have a webinar in your own companies, we can also just please coordinate with us. It
Oh
is
yeah,
possible.
if you want us to go to your company, if you happen to be in Philippines, all right, Metro Manila area, please let us know. Even in the province, we might just say, hey, we would love to go to visit the province and talk to your company or your people. Just get your HR or yourself, or just message Sheila straight away to say that, hey, can you arrange a talk with our company? And we'll arrange for that. All right. Yeah.
Definitely. Thank you, Sir Shyan. All right. So once again, on behalf of our avid viewers for tonight, we would like to say thank you for answering our questions, Sir Shyan Lim, and of course, Doc Jansen Kalalan. And of course, I would like to take this opportunity to invite everybody next week. That's another Thursday, August 3. We are already in August, yes. So August 3, the webinar is entitled Cancer Care Journey, 3 Stages to Win Against Cancer. So this is very interesting. So we wish that you could also invite your fellow patients in your hospitals, and also even your medical practitioners who are also working there. So catch us next week. So there you go. So your victories over cancer is what is going here in Simply Nature, and we wish to see you once again in our next webinars to come, because here in Simply Nature, we are always with you from start to healing. Thank you, everybody. Good night, and God bless you all.